I'm sat in a new £2 million hypercar, which is supposed to be the quickest accelerating road car ever made. I've got my specialist timing gear up here. I'm going to launch it. See how quick it really is. Let's do this. Go! Buy, sell, car. Wow. This is the Mack Spearling, and this thing has absolutely blown my mind. And I've got Kevin, the chief engineer of this car, to tell us about it. So what is the concept of this car?
So this is a 1,000 horsepower, single seat, ultra high performance, track capable road car.
And it's electric, isn't it?
It's fully electric.
And there's something very special about it, which is?
Its fan system. The fan system basically allows this car to be not only incredibly quick off a launch and quicker than anything else out there, but also incredibly quick around corners. With the downforce it generates, it will corner as quick as any other race car in the planet. In fact, in the low speed corners is where it really comes alive, because it can generate 2 tons of downforce from 0 miles an hour all the way up to its top speed. Whereas normal race cars, you need to build up speed, and the faster you go, the more downforce it generates. Whereas this is just 2 tons all the time.
Already seen it go up the hill at Goodwood, and it broke the record, didn't it?
It did.
So what time did it do at the hill?
It did a 39.08.
Tell me about the motors and the power. So you've got 2 electric motors?
Got 2 electric motors in the back. They are behind the driver's back, is where they're packaged in here.
And can you use them independently for torque vectoring and stuff like that?
You can, absolutely, yes.
So that'll help cornering and acceleration out of the bends and stuff like that?
Yes.
The car weighs how much?
Less than a ton.
Okay, so you've got more than 1 horsepower per kilogram. The quickest accelerating car I've ever driven is the Rimac Navara. That has almost 2,000 horsepower, but it weighs over 2 tons, so it has just less than 1 horsepower per ton. And obviously it doesn't have all the downforce that this thing has. So what's it made out of?
It's all carbon fibre. Got a carbon fibre chassis, carbon fibre bodywork. When it comes to an electric car, efficiency is king. The higher the efficiency, the fewer batteries you need to carry around with you, so the less weight. So the overall footprint is similar to a 1960s Grand Prix car.
And how many kilowatts are the batteries?
It's a 60 kilowatt hour battery pack.
Okay, so let's do like geeky consumerist stuff. So how far can you go on a single charge?
So on the road, on a WLTP cycle, it'll give you over 300 miles of range.
How long can you go flat out for on track with your 60 kilowatt hour battery?
So if you turn everything to 100%, if you want to use the full 1,000 horsepower and go at a similar pace to an F1 car, you're not limited by the capacity, you're then limited by temperatures. So everything is going to start getting very hot very quickly. So on qualifying mode, you will be able to do just over 1 lap. But if you turn the power slightly down and you want to drive, let's say maybe a GT4 pace, you'll comfortably do a 20-minute track session.
Wow, okay, and that's on a full charge, and then your battery's done and you have to charge it?
And then within 15 minutes you can recharge 80% of the capacity.
Really?
And go back out on track.
So what's the charging rate at DC?
It's over 200 kilowatts.
Okay, but you need a 200 kilowatt charger at your track day. So let's have a look at the front. Let's start at the front and walk to the back. So what's going on here? So you've got air intakes there.
Yeah, so you have these letterbox intakes, so they cool your brakes.
And then you've got like big cutouts over the wheels, so I can actually see the front wheels through these holes. Are these releasing the air pressure from?
Yeah, pressure builds up in the wheel well and the openings behind the wheels as well. They're there to control that pressure and to reduce the amount of turbulent flow spilling out.
What about this part here? This is like sending air towards the back. Is this into the diffuser?
Yeah, again, it controls the air that from the wheel well, as well as the air that comes in to cool the brakes, and it just manages it and then sends it towards the back through the tunnel in the back, which is designed to improve the aerodynamic efficiency of the car, and it sends some of the air down to the rear brake ducts to cool the rear brakes and the radiators, which are at the back of the car.
And I noticed this effect around here on the door mirrors.
This feature is actually quite common in lots of F1 wing mirrors. It's just designed to accelerate the air behind the mirror and reduces the drag.
And then you've got this on the top.
Yep.
It's like it's got a mohawk. But this serves a purpose, right?
It certainly has a purpose. So we have 2 fins on the car. The main purpose for this door fin here, if you're running without fans and you lose control and the car spins, what this fin does, it breaks up the airflow over the top of the car and it prevents it from lifting off.
Now let's move back to the fan, you see, because one of the things about a Formula 1 car, say if you start to spin or something, you lose all your downforce, don't you?
Yes.
Whereas with this, if you start to spin, like you're going sideways, you've still got your fan sucking into the ground,
you still have
pushing the tyres into the ground.
Absolutely. You do not lose any downforce in a yaw or in a spin, or even if you're going backwards, you still have all your downforce.
Going backwards with all your downforce.
Which means you can just, stamp on the brakes and the car will slow down better than any race car will going backwards.
Wow. So can you tell me exactly where the fans are and how they operate?
So if we move around the back of the car, we have two fans here. We have one fan on the right, one fan on the left. The reason we have two is a dual redundant system, similar to what you find in aerospace. It means that if there's any issue with either of the fans, the car will maintain its downforce and you won't lose the downforce. You can keep driving, it's still safe.
So are you running two fans at once or one at a time?
Two fans at once. One is enough to give you the majority of your downforce, so any issue you have doesn't matter.
So the fans are in here?
Yes.
Can we see them?
Well, what you can see is the exhaust of the fans, which are back here.
Yeah, because I like this. It looks like it's got an exhaust system like an internal combustion engine car, but it's carbon fibre.
This is the rear crash structure, so this is what absorbs the energy in the rear crash. That crumples down and absorbs the energy. But above it, you have two exhausts, and these are the fan exhausts.
You showed me your flaps, Kevin?
Yeah.
Right.
So the flaps are here, they're part of the redundancy system. So if a fan shuts down, the flap will close down, which means you don't have any backflow of air and you can maintain your low pressure underneath the car. With the fans, it's a bit like an inverse hovercraft. So rather than blowing the air down and hovering, it just sucks itself down and gives you all the grip you could ever wish for.
Do you know what? To really understand how the fans work, I think we need to do some experiments. While the McMurtry's fan is primarily designed to give the car maximum performance, you can also use it for some other activities. For instance, it can blow you off. You know how hard it is sometimes when you're trying to replace a bin bag, but you can never get them open? Well, the McMurtry can actually help you with that. Look at this. In autumn, you can use it to clean your driveway of fallen leaves. Now let's check out the interior. First thing I've got to do is figure out how to get into it. So there seems to be two doors and they're slightly different sizes. This is the bigger door, so I'm going to go for this one. Press that. Is that the right way to do it? Don't want to break it. All right, let's get... Oh, someone in here. Right, this is
Hello.
Max. Max Chilton is the development driver, Formula F1 driver. So you're the guy that drove it up the hill and did that record time.
I was indeed. Welcome to my office. Yeah. It's a small office, but it's very pleasant when you're in here.
Blimey, in the seating position, it's like, that's proper race car seating position.
Absolutely, I feel at home here. Your knees are sort of just below your chin. Your feet are a long way out, but quite high up. You're in the slanted back position, but great visibility. It basically feels like a fighter jet on the ground.
So you're saying I need to experience it for myself, so can I have a little sit in it?
Of course, yeah.
Looks quite snug, and I'm not sure I'm going to be able to bend my body to get in there, but let's see how we go.
I think you'll be absolutely fine.
I've got quite a lot of like clothes on because it's cold today.
Place your bum on here.
This is just going to be so embarrassing.
And then swing your legs round and into the bottom of the seat. And then slip your way down, basically.
Actually, you slide into it quite easy.
It's actually...
Oh my
not too
God,
bad.
that was surprising.
And even though it's snug in there, you've got plenty of room, so you can move your elbows around. You feel quite at home. Obviously, these have got the LMP1 headrest in for safety, so that does make you feel quite closed in. But the road car, you wouldn't need that.
What the heck is this?
So that's it's a safety pad, which is designed for, they have them in Formula 1, also Le Mans standards. So when you have a big side impact, your helmet has some cushioning. But the road car, you'll be able to disconnect that and leave it at home.
So you just remove that. Yeah, because it seems a little bit intense, but I suppose you've got one on the other side. Yeah. It's on that door, isn't it?
Exactly that.
It is quite comfy, and I thought the view would be awful, but it's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
And do you know what? Actually, the position, I have a bit of a bad back, right? This is like a good position to be in if you've got a bad back.
Well, it's got lumbar support, so the seat's got a bit of a wave in it, and it really helps your back. And again, it's snug, but it's been designed to have some really nice, beautiful features.
Can we get the steering wheel on so I can have a little go?
Yeah. So it's just a click, connect. There we go.
Right, okay. So it's pretty high tech. It's on. I've got loads of information. Oh my gosh.
We'll desensify that for you so it's a bit easier.
You've got this like simple beginner version.
So the basics are the battery power dial is here. That will turn the battery from completely off to on. Then over here you have your ignition. You have P1 and P2. We're in P1 now, so the car's got power, but it's not technically ready to drive until you're in P2. You've also got a volume dial down here for when you're talking to your team. If you want on a track day, talk to the team.
Not for your stereo.
Not for your stereo, but it probably will linked into the stereo on the road car version. And then down here you've got a brake balance, so that just moves your brake balance forward or rearwards depending on what you're locking. But from my experience in this car, the braking is on par with a Formula 1 car. And it actually, in ways, performs better at certain corners.
But no ABS on this particular version?
Not on this track version, but the next road car track version will have ABS, yeah.
The steering wheel itself, it's like something from a spacecraft.
That's our third version steering wheel, which is brand new last week, and I absolutely love it. It's got great visibility for the dash, gives you all the information you need. You've got an up paddle which puts it in drive on the right, and then the down paddle on the left either puts it back to neutral, and if you click it again, we'll go into reverse. You've got a ride switch here, which is the active suspension.
Okay.
That's if you want to come to a sleeping policeman on the road, or drive through McDonald's on the way back from the track day, you can lift the car up, get over the speed bumps, and then you can lower the car back down. So that's just how much ride height you want, basically.
You know what I want to do with this next, right?
We'll do a Big Mac.
Yeah, let's go for the drive-through. So we've got ride, we've got TC, which I assume is traction control.
Traction control, you know what that does.
Yep.
Now this is the holy grail. This is the one which you will only ever experience in the McMurtry Spearling. Oh, there you go.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yes. So that is basically currently set at 0, so the fans are not turning at all. You've got multiple different functions, all the way from 0 RPM up to 23,000 RPM. That then creates a huge amount of downforce, a huge amount of noise, and it will sound like a jet fighter on the ground. So you could have that set at about 400 horsepower all the way up to 1,000 horsepower.
And bringing it back to like normal track cars or like taking the fan away, there's an addition that you fitted to this car, or had fitted. When I first saw it like 2 years ago, it didn't have a wing on the back, but now it's got a wing. What's that all about when you got the fan?
Yeah, absolutely. That was my doing. Basically, I joined McMurtry at the end of last year, and we did quite a lot of testing without the fans. And I just felt like the car needed some more stability at the rear without the fans, and it just made it more of a driver's car. It made the balance of the car really enjoyable. And then when we turned the fans on, it just overall increased our performance, change of direction, and actually I think it increased the look of it.
Yeah, it works, doesn't it?
So it's an all-round gain. The last dial you've got there is EPAS, which is electric pad steering. This car creates so much load through the tyre, it can be a huge amount of force going through the steering wheel. So when you're on a track day, if you want full power and full fans, it's quite nice to have some pad steering. So that's all that is, and you can control how much levelling degrees of that you want. It's actually more useful at slower speeds. As you said earlier, I raced in Formula 1. I've been fortunate enough to know what a Formula 1 car's like through slow speed meets big corners. This car is quicker, and it's just the amount of force that's going through the car onto the road at slow speed corners makes the steering unbelievably heavy. So that's where the EPAS is really needed, is the slow speed corners like Silverstone through the hairpin. And we basically wanted to create a car which people with very little driving experience could go out and experience Formula 1 speeds, and there's no better way of doing that with a fan car.
So that's the thing with Formula 1 car that everyone says who's like a normal kind of car enthusiast who's got the opportunity to drive one, is that to really feel the downforce, you have to have the actual speed, and it takes a while for you to build up the confidence to be able to really engage and feel the benefit of the aero on a Formula 1 car. With this, you just got it straight away from the get-go. Yeah. You don't need big balls to be able to get it, you just turn that dial. Your balls get bigger.
Yeah.
Do you know what I want to do? Can I just try it with it shut?
Of course.
Just to see what it feels like. Whoa. I mean, this is intense. Let's open it again. How do I open it from the inside?
So there's a little catch just here.
Let's see if I can do the dismount. So I've got to release the steering wheel. I was twatting myself in the face. It's quite light and compact, isn't it? So,
yeah, it's a nice design.
Okay, and now you're not going to help me here, right?
No.
We'll see what happens.
You can make a fool of yourself. Put your bum on there and swing your legs out.
It's like some kind of like hatchling emerging from its egg. Right. You know what? This height is just perfect. I actually styled that out. Yeah, it's a good place to sit. However, the McMurtry Spearling isn't perfect. There are some annoying things about it. For instance, the tyres are bespoke for this vehicle, so if you get a puncture, it could be a little bit tricky to replace. There is no hinge on the other door, so you have to lift it out. Thankfully, when they build the road car, it will have a hinge second door. What they won't be adding to the cabin though is any interior storage, so no cup holders, no door bins, nowhere to put your phone nor your drink. Unlike other electric powered hypercars which are all four-wheel drive and therefore have motors on both axles, because this is rear drive only, you only get regen braking on the rear axle, whereas ideally you want most of the regen braking to take place on the front axle. Because of the fat windscreen pillars, you can't actually see the door mirrors from the normal seating position, so they're going to have to move the door mirrors back here for the production version. Well, it's good that this car has a reversing camera. Unfortunately, there's no little cleaning system for it, and it does tend to get covered in dust from the air exiting those vents. That means that you're going to occasionally have to pop out and get your little cloth and give it a wipe so you can see where you're reversing. Kind of spoils the point really, doesn't it? However, it's not all bad. Here's 5 cool things about the McMurtry Spearling. One of the reasons petrol heads don't like electric cars is because there's no noise, there's no drama. Well, there is with this McMurtry, because you can actually rev up the fan when you're stationary. Check this out. I'm revving it with the throttle pedal. Just like ski goggles, the windscreen of the track version of the McMurtry Spearling has an iridium tint to reduce glare from the sun. Because the fan can produce 2 tons of downforce and the car weighs less than 1 ton, you could effectively park it upside down. Ah! When you look from above, you can see that the McMurtry company logo is the shape of a peregrine falcon, which is actually the fastest animal in the world. According to Wikipedia, it can do 242.3 miles an hour in a dive. Oh. Because the McMurtry is just 1.5 metres wide, you can actually fit it in parking spaces that other cars wouldn't manage to get into. Look at this! Look! Plenty of room either side. It's quick and practical. Before I drive this thing, let me tell you about the chassis. So it's a full carbon fibre monocoque and it's built to Le Mans LMP1 standards, so you've got full crash protection. Now the wheelbase, this is interesting, is just 2 metres long. Just did that Monty Python style funny walk there. Now the reason I'm pointing that out is because that's the same as the width of a modern Formula 1 car. Now suspension, you've got multi-link, fully independent, both at the back and at the front. Also it's got active suspension to cope with all that crazy downforce. Then there's the wheels. They're 19 inches in diameter and lightweight magnesium. You've got carbon ceramic brakes and centre locking nuts that are made out of titanium. They cost £1,000 a piece, which means that you've got £4,000 worth of nuts. Anyway, I'm delaying the inevitable because I'm a bit frightened. Let's drive it. I've got my specialist timing gear up here. I'm going to launch it. See how quick it really is. Let's do this. Go! Okay, so that was just insane. Off the line, it was like being catapulted. And he got up to speed. I don't know what the speed was, but then he like just seemed to stop accelerating. It's like it's got a limiter on it. But he got to that limited speed so quickly. Times I've got up here. 0 to 60, 2.27 seconds. 0 to 100, 4.31 seconds. And the standing quarter mile, 9.34 seconds. Really, really quick, like off the line. Oh my God, it was nuts. But it like seemed to top out before I'd done the quarter mile. What's going on?
Yeah, so you've got good sensations, so that's absolutely what it was designed to do. So this is the official Goodwood car. We haven't changed it since it left Goodwood, and we geared it to do 150. So what that would have done is you've got to 150 ridiculously quickly, and then it's just sat on the limiter. Yeah,
one thing I was thinking though, I mean, it was rapid off the line. I can't believe for a rear-wheel drive car, just the traction it got off the line was nuts. 0 to 60, really good, 2.27, but I have been quicker in a Rimac Navara.
Now we've given you like around 600 horsepower. We'll give you the full beans. We'll give you
so that wasn't full power?
Absolutely not.
You sneaky.
This thing's miles faster than you've ever driven anything before, so we'll give you a full 1,000 horsepower now. It is still damp, so it won't be probably the best time we've ever done, but it'll be outrageously fast and you'll be pretty staggered.
I'm a bit nervous now because if that's 650 horsepower, I'm going to get an extra 350. This is going to be even more intense. Let's do it though, Max, let's do it. Dial me all the way up. Now I'm going to go for the full 1,000 horsepower. Dial the fan up. Here comes the fan. Throw the throttle. Here we go. Okay, so that's really interesting. Damp track, had some wheel spin, 0 to 60, 2.09, slightly slower than that Rimac, standing quarter mile, 8.64, but it had actually actually like hit its limiter halfway through the run. If I didn't have that wheel spin, you notice that step up in performance when you go to the 1,000 horsepower. Wow, that is insane. I know this car has more to give, and if you have a hypercar or you have a friend that does and you would like to drag race it against this McMurtry, either contact us at CarWow, review my car at carwow.co.uk, or DM McMurtry on their Instagram account. Okay, it's on the screen now, and we'll set it up, and not only can you drag race your hypercar against this, they'll let you drive this as well to experience what it feels like, so make sure you do that.
Tomorrow.
Do you know what? I was so gutted about not quite beating the Rimac Nevera. I managed to convince McMurtry into letting me have another go. So what we've done, we've come to Silverstone, we've hired the circuit, we're on the back straight, and we've used a special truck with a jet engine on it to dry the track, because I want to see what this thing can do in the dry. The last run was on a slightly damp surface, so it was struggling for traction, and the traction control was actually kicking it, and it was just holding it back. So now, hopefully, I can get a perfect launch. Let's do it. Here we go. It's full fan, let's go. That did the time. Me, 8.35. It hit like its 150 mile an hour limit. I'd put it to 145 in like 5 seconds, and it's got like 3 seconds where it's just not even accelerating. That actually hurt my head. That was a different level to before. I actually don't think I did that properly either. I think I might have come out the throttle and started braking too soon. I think I might have done that because it's just rearranged my brain too much. I need to do another run. I don't know what I'm doing now. I'm just like freaked out. I don't know how to get into reverse or anything. It's just messed with me. I'm just a mess. I've never accelerated like that in my life. I can't get into reverse. So it's this way. Go in reverse! Don't know what I'm doing. I've lost it. Can someone come and help me? I need help. I don't know if I would even want to do that again. It's uncomfortable. I couldn't help that. My brain's just... I don't know what... I couldn't find reverse or anything. I was just a mess.
You can get reverse. Well, what did it do?
It's 1.4, 8.35, but I backed out. That I think I got so messed up by it, and I set an extra parameter in the box. The thing that flipped up was 145, and I thought that was the quarter mile. I wasn't sure, so I think I backed off. So I think it's going to go quicker.
Yeah, I think will. I mean, that 0 to 60 was ridiculous.
It was horrible.
No traction control.
Oh. For some reason, the guys at McMurtry want me to burn the tyres up a little bit, just to floor it and see what happens, just for a split second. I'm not sure this is actually a good idea, but I tend to do what I'm told. Let's do it. Wow, that was so easy. I'm going to do it again.
Right, you're good to go, okay?
Okay.
The tyres are now bone dry hot, it will make them quicker.
Okay.
So fan, remember, full throttle, full brake, wait for it to spool up. What you did was perfect last time. Just remember when you get to the end, turn the fan on.
Yeah, okay, I'll try and remember. I bet I'll forget. I'll forget. I'm not sure if I want to do it again, it's too insane. Let's do it. Here we go. I cocked it up last time. 7.97! Fan off, fan off. Remember to put the fan off. 7.97. A sub 8. I accelerate and launch a lot of cars. I drag race a lot of cars. This is on another level. It's like 2 levels up. All cars are now officially slow to me. This has ruined everything. So I actually did a 7.97 according to this.
7.97.
Can I get out? That is, it's a sub 8! A sub 8!
Not even I've done that, mate. That's
Really?
outrageous.
That's because I'm a better driver, you see. I'm a professional. I'm not. Perfect, that was. Perfect conditions. The launch is just mind-bending. No traction control, no?
Nothing. You didn't have any on the first one, but then we got your tyres nice and warm with your burnouts.
Well, I didn't back out this time. I backed out the last time. That was the problem. Oh, wow. I've got to try and get out now, and I'm absolutely broken. Oh, God. It's just utterly mental. I've never felt anything like that in my life. Now I've calmed down, I'm going to do a little experiment. I want to show you how fast this thing accelerates relative to another car. So I'm in an Audi S8, I'm going to get up to 60 miles an hour, and as soon as I get level with the McMurtry, then Max, who's driving it now, is going to launch it, and you'll see how long it takes for him to catch up with me and then pass me.
3, 2, 1.
Right, I'm at 60. Here we go, here he comes. It's just buggered off. That car is absolutely insane. Now, if you all enjoyed the video, give it a like. Remember, if you've got a hypercar and you want to race it in a drag race and have a go yourself, then contact either us, Carwow, or McMurtry, right? If you want to watch some other videos, click on those windows there, and don't forget to click on that box there to make sure you subscribe to this channel, right? You don't want to miss when I drag race that insane McMurtry Spearling.